Think with me. How many times have you heard, now it's going to happen? How many times has Toronto brought in promise, talent, hope, only to fall short when spring arrived? Well, today, Leafs fan, the rumor is different. It's not just another trade story. These are two proposals that, if they happen, could change the way this team hits the ice. One would boost the brute force, the physical side, the soul of the guys who stand tall when the game gets tight. The other, an old dream, a wall on defense, so no one leaves the rink lamenting easy goals anymore. And the best part, none of this is just empty talk. These are real conversations, hot behind-the-scenes chatter that shows the front office has finally heard the message the stands have been shouting for years. Stop promising a future without a present. So do this now. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here you won't hear shallow rumors. You'll discover how these possible trades could change everything in Toronto, from inside the locker room to the final round of the playoffs. Stick with me, because today, we're going to check out two trade proposals that could help the Leafs next season. Trade proposal number 1. Imagine waking up on a cold Toronto morning, opening your newspaper or your phone, and seeing a rumor that could blow the mind of any fan who's breathed hockey since the 60s. What if I told you that one of the most beloved players among Canucks fans, a power forward who carries nearly $13 million of raw energy in his body, is about to swap the West Coast for the relentless lights of Scotiabank Arena? That's right, Dakota Joshua, the name that's made noise with hits and board fights, now floats like a ghost through the corridors of Leafs Nation. Are you ready for this? For longtime hockey fans, you know well that rumors like this don't appear out of nowhere. They echo old trades that shaped entire franchises. Back in the 90s, anyone who followed the Canucks remembers the drama of seeing Trevor Linden almost boarding a plane to Toronto in a deal that seemed crazy. Decades later, here we are again. Patrick Alvin, the Canucks GM, shook up the city this offseason with moves nobody expected. In just a few weeks, he locked down big names like Brock Boeser and Thatcher Demko, securing part of the core. But at the same time, he let go of goalie Artur Silos, a promising talent who will now wear the black and gold of the Penguins. And riding that momentum, he's left the door wide open for someone else to say goodbye. When Rick Dhaliwal, a respected insider, drops that the Canucks are souring on Dakota Joshua for some strange reason, it's impossible to ignore. And before we dive deep into behind-the-scenes talk, do me and this whole diehard fan community a favor. Hit the like button on this video right now, because it tells YouTube you're part of the old guard that doesn't swallow watered-down rumors. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because here we break down every detail, from the ice to the locker room. Hot info, unfiltered, fan to fan. You don't want to miss out. Now take a deep breath, because what's on the table isn't small. The rumor making the rounds is clear as the rink glass. Dakota Joshua could land in Toronto, while Kaye Jarnkrok, a third-round pick in 2026 and a fifth-round pick in 2027, would head back to Vancouver. For outsiders, it might seem fair, but on the ice, every detail matters. Joshua is physical, intimidating, and has a unique ability to fire up the bench with a good check. In Toronto, where for years people have said they lack soul, lack a guy willing to crash the boards and open space for Matthews and Marner, he'd be almost a missing piece of the puzzle. On the other side, Jarnkrok may not have the same emotional impact, but he brings a versatility that Vancouver desperately needs. He can play anywhere on the bottom six, doesn't shy away from defensive battles, and still offers more offensive consistency than Joshua. In a team that struggles year after year to put the puck in the net, that's worth gold. And there's more. Jarnkrok is entering the final year of a 4-season contract worth $8.4 million. So it frees up cash in the short term. And don't be fooled. Every draft pick in this mix is ammo for Alvin to use in future trades, or to invest in young players who could become the foundation for the future. What nobody says out loud but echoes behind the scenes at Rogers Arena is that Joshua has always been a fan favorite, but he's no longer front office's favorite. His numbers, although good on the forecheck and in physical presence, don't deliver what the Canucks want in offensive production. And when a team starts rethinking its style, pieces like that become trade chips. It's the hockey business. And for anyone with more than 65 years of experience, that's nothing new. You get attached to a name, but deep down you know tomorrow he might be wearing another jersey, waving from afar. And if this rumor goes through, for the Leafs, it means reinforcing a bottom six that feels like paper when the playoffs get tough. Anyone who's seen the Leafs fall repeatedly in recent years knows it's not a lack of stars up front. It's a lack of grit, of players who bleed for the crest. Joshua has exactly that vibe. He's not a sniper, but he clears the path for those who are. Meanwhile, Jarnkrok, though well-liked in the locker room, might end up underused in an increasingly rigid system. And when his contract expires, Toronto could be left empty-handed. Behind the scenes in Vancouver, the atmosphere is one of expectation. Some people want Joshua gone, but others fear that letting him go for picks in Jarnkrok might be too cheap, especially considering that, if used well, Dakota could be worth even more closer to the trade deadline. That's the dilemma. Get value now, rebuild pieces, or hold on and risk the player losing value. History shows us that decisions like this shape not only the standings, but also a team's culture. Trading a fan favorite can undermine the base's trust, but sometimes it's the cut needed to make room for a more cohesive team. What nobody disputes is that Patrick Allvin isn't afraid of making unpopular decisions. He's already shown that this year. And honestly, if I were a Leafs fan, I'd be following every move Vancouver's GM makes as if he were part of my own front office. In the end, it all comes down to the chess game. The Leafs know they need this physical upgrade. The Canucks know they have a chip that still holds value. But in the real world, everything can change with one phone call. Meanwhile, the insiders just keep stoking the fire. Now I want to hear from you. If you had to bet today, does Dakota Joshua arrive in Toronto before training camp, or is this just summer smoke? Is it worth paying 2 picks and giving up Jarnkrok, or is it better to wait for a bigger opportunity closer to the deadline? Drop your opinion below. Let's see who nails this chess game before the GMs do. Trade proposal number 2. Maple Leafs poised to land a star in a successful blockbuster move. Take a deep breath. Now picture the scene. It's summer in Toronto, but the chilly breeze blowing to the halls of Scotiabank Arena makes it clear the next season has already begun. Not on the ice, but at the negotiation tables. GM Brad Treliving's phone rings. On the other end, a whisper from New Jersey. Dougie Hamilton might be available. And in the blink of an eye, a rumor becomes a fuel for a city that, for more than half a century, has waited for a team capable of hoisting the Stanley Cup. For Leafs fans who've been around for decades, this story tastes bittersweet. Those who saw a board Somming fight with grit back in the day know a strong defense is the heart of a championship team. But those who lived through the last 20 years also painfully learned that promise. Without a wall back, there is a sure recipe for an April exit. And now, with Mitch Marner gone, swept away by the relentless tide of free agency, Toronto finds itself with a double void. They lost offensive production, but exposed even more the hole that's always existed on defense. Look at the scenario. Dougie Hamilton, with 9 goals and 31 assists last season, is not just a player with good stats. He's a guy who changes how the puck exits the defensive zone, who knows how to hit hard without losing finesse, who faces a forecheck with the calm of someone who doesn't tremble in big games. And if there's one piece Toronto has always begged for, especially when the stars up front can't solve everything alone, it's a defenseman of that caliber. And before I break down what might really be behind this move, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This isn't just a rumor video. It's our meeting place to talk hockey as it really is, with details, behind-the-scenes info, and no sugarcoating management decisions. Here you won't be at the mercy of empty headlines. You'll understand it all. Now, let's talk about the rumor as it stands. Insiders are already painting the picture. The New Jersey Devils, despite an exciting young core, find themselves trapped in a cap that keeps tightening. Hamilton, with a long and heavy contract, could be the escape valve that allows the team to move and fix more urgent holes. For Toronto, which already has well-paid veterans back there, the question echoing is simple. Is it really worth adding more salary cap weight for a single defenseman? Gretz, a respected analyst, said, if the goal is to win the Stanley Cup and improve the defense, then yes, they need it. And it's hard to disagree. History shows you don't win championships with a patched-up blue line. Just look at what Hedman means to Tampa, or what Pietrangelo represented for Vegas. A great defenseman cleans up the house, frees up the forwards, and gives confidence even to the goalie, who so often became a martyr in the Leafs' playoff runs. But none of this comes cheap. To pry Hamilton away from the Devils, Toronto would have to give up valuable picks, maybe prospects, perhaps even someone useful from the main roster. It's the price to avoid another spring of frustration. And here's where the die-hard fan, the gray-haired one who carries scars from failed playoff runs, shakes his head and asks, is it worth it? Is sacrifice in the future for a more solid present really the answer? Behind the scenes, the word is that Trailerman prefers to err on the side of boldness rather than be marked by inaction. And this mindset seems different from the old Toronto, the one that sat waiting for a miracle. The Hamilton rumor is just the tip of the iceberg. The front office wants to send a message to Matthews, Nylander, and Tavares. We're doing everything possible to give you a blue line worthy of the Stanley Cup. And honestly, that makes a difference inside a locker room tired of seeing offensive work go down the drain when the defense collapses. Now imagine with me, Dougie Hamilton wearing blue and white, running the power play, cutting down the time the puck spends in the defensive zone, helping kill penalties, and most importantly, giving the forwards confidence to play without fear that one mistake turns into a goal against on the transition. If that doesn't change this team's level, very little would. But if it doesn't happen, well, then we return to the same horror movie. Expensive veterans try and cover holes that an elite defenseman would fix. The offense shining, the defense slipping. And the fans, those same fans who fill Scotiabank even on nights of melting ice, having to swallow yet another next year. And you? If you were the GM, would you trade picks, promising youngsters, whatever it takes, to get Dougie Hamilton now? Or would you prefer the patience to wait for a more favorable market, risking seeing another Eastern rival get stronger while Toronto watches? Answer in the comments, because your opinion makes this channel pulse like a living locker room. And stay tuned, because they say if Hamilton really goes, there's another veteran who could shake up the trade window the same week. So don't hesitate. Like, share with your hockey debate buddies at the bar, subscribe, and hit the bell. The ice hasn't even started to melt, and there's already a rumor promising to turn into an avalanche. We'll see each other in the next video, and maybe with Dougie Hamilton in a New Jersey.